Hey guys, Mrhappy here to bring you the second part of the story so far for Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn. If you haven't seen part 1 of my lore video, I recommend you follow the link in the description below to get caught up on what is going on. Also, keep in mind that there are major spoilers here and that I am no Morgan Freeman, so if you wish to be engrossed in the story, I recommend experiencing it in the game firsthand as you play through it or through the cutscenes at your in-room. So with that out of the way, let's get back to the story. With information of Minfilia, Urianger, Papalamo, and Tataru all being kept at Castrom's Sentry, as well as Biggs and Wedge escaping from a downed Imperial airship, you set off to locate the two engineers first before you come up with a plan to get your friends back. Saving them from Imperial pursuit, you begin to work on your entry into the Castrum. In order to prevent detection, the Scions come up with a series of events that should help with the endeavor. First, you confirm their presence in the Castrum through an old drainage pipe. Then, you steal the clothes of a group of Imperials before finally stealing your very own Magitech Reaper. Once completing these steps, as well as properly learning how to ride the Reaper, you make your way in with Biggs and Wedge into Castrom's Sentry to find your allies. Under your disguise, you gather as much information in the Castrum as you can before finally gaining access to the storage tower where your allies are being held. You show up just in time to save them before they are shipped off to Castrum Meridianum and to the Black Wolf, Gaius. After defeating several waves of enemies, you find yourself surrounded in a cliff just outside of the Castrum. Just before being killed, Y'shtola and Ida show up and save the day. Wedge had abandoned the Magitech Reaper before joining up with you, but even from a distance, the Magitech Reaper recognizes you. Seeking the help, it causes a diversion by confusing the Garleans, who don't know how it is operating without a driver. With this diversion, Cid contacts you via Link Pearl and tells you and your allies to count to 5 and jump off the cliff.
1, 2,
3.
4.
You do so, landing promptly on the Enterprise as it swoops under you. However, as Cid is flying above the Castrum, Gaius appears with a now completed Ultima weapon, which fires upon the Enterprise, barely missing. They also notice La Habrea standing next to Gaius. Now it is in this moment that he reveals himself to have been none other than Thancred all along, albeit a possessed Thancred. This explains how the Empire knew to strike the Scions in the Waking Sands, and pretty much every other move they made. Striving to ensure the others do not doubt their mission, Alphinaud raises the Scions' morale with a big speech.
The people of Eorzea falter for want of such hope. Let us provide it. Let us bear to them the tidings that the Scions of the 7th Dawn are returned.
At the same time, the Alliance leaders gather to answer an ultimatum given to them by Gaius. Surrender, and he shall destroy the Primals forever. Resist, and join them in their graves. They decide to resist and prepare their forces for the coming battle. Meanwhile, Minfilia reveals her secret weapon, a replica of a Crystal of Darkness. While you had been obtaining Crystals of Light, she had this replica made in an attempt to use it to save Thancred. As one of the most powerful Archons, Thancred's possession will not go unnoticed, and your goal is to save him along with the rest of the realm. Deeming you a true Warrior of Light, Minfilia bids you help them finish the final battle. She sends you to Northern Thanalan to rally the troops there, just outside of Castrum Meridianum, and prepare them for the coming battle. You help raise their morale and thin the enemy troops before the final plan is set in motion, Operation Archon. It sees that Limsa Lominsa deal with Castrum Occidens and Castrum Marinum in the middle of the ocean on an island. Gridania shall deal with Castrum Oriens and Sentry, and the Adventurer will deal with Cape Westwind before assisting the Flames with Castrum Meridianum, before ultimately destroying the Ultima weapon. Alongside the Alamegan Resistance, you set off for Cape Westwind to deal with Ritaten, who greets you with the determination to have you see the great future for Eorzea under Garlean rule. With signs of your resistance, he proceeds to battle you, falling for his country. His defeat signals the end of Phase 1 of Operation Archon. And as you leave to see the next phase carried out, Mrhappy looks on, sure enough that your light shall soon be overcome with darkness. You return to join the Immortal Flames, who announce Phase 2 was successful. With the flames wreaking havoc outside the walls of Castrum Meridianum, you are tasked to enter and lower the barriers protecting Gaius and his main Praetorium, where he contains the Ultima weapon. Following in shortly after, Cid tasks you with destroying a cerulean plant powering the first generator. Finally fixing the Reaper, he presses forward with you, using and destroying the Reaper to disable the second tower. While looking for a method of bringing down the third tower, an airship with heavy cannon fire begins to attack you. You use the nearby mortars to bring it down, causing it to crash into the third and final tower and disable the Praetorium's defenses. After having looked on as you fought your way through the castrum, Livia Sashunius mounts her own special Magitech Reaper in an attempt to stop you. Again, using the nearby cannons, you dismount her from her armor, forcing her to do battle with you the old-fashioned way. After killing Livia, Cid shows up and tells you that you must retreat back to the cerulean processing plant where he has left the Enterprise. With it, you shall invade the Praetorium and end this once and for all. Biggs and Wedge drive it in as you and Cid enter the Praetorium and begin your search for Ultima weapon. Not soon after entering, you run into Gaius, who reveals to Cid that his father had actually grown proud that his son had desires to use his knowledge for peace, just before the Meteor Project caused his death. Gaius uses this knowledge in an attempt to have Cid and the adventurer join him in cleansing Eorzea. When the adventurer and Cid refuse, he retreats, expecting one of his Magitech machines to destroy them. After it falls as well, the adventurer and Cid press onward, though Cid stays behind to give you more information about the complex from the control room where you had found Gaius. Cid leads you to the same piece of Magitech armor you used for your assault on Castrum Sentry. The armor recognizes you and allows you to use it to breach the stronger defenses of the Praetorium. After busting open a cerulean wall and fighting your way through hordes of enemies and experiments, you come to a wall that must be broken by diverting all energy of the armor into the blast, thus wrecking your Reaper's core. You continue on foot, only to be greeted by Gaius' second-hand man, Nero Tolskeva, though he reveals only to be second-hand by comparison to Cid, explaining that he had been treated as a dog while Cid Garland still lived. He showed great distaste that Gaius never offered his hand to work closer with Nero, yet offered the traitor just earlier in the Praetorium. Interested in proving himself to Gaius, Nero engages you, hoping to learn the secrets of the Echo. He is unsuccessful, however. He flees just before you can deliver the finishing blow. With you unable to act further upon Nero, you move forward onto an elevator that will lead you to the deepest part of the Praetorium. You activate the control panel and begin your descent, only to be greeted by Gaius himself.
Tell me, for whom do you fight?
Gaius explains to you that the enlightened races are no different than the beast tribes summoning their own primals. The 12 require the same sufficient aether to maintain physical form, and it is their summoning that almost saved the world from Bahamut, though also almost destroyed Eorzea in the process. He tells you that man must rule the world, not these deities, and in such requests that you show your power to him.
To raise himself through conflict, to grow rich through conquest, and when the dust of battle settles, it is ever the strong who dictate the fate of the weak. Knowing this, but a single path is open to the infinite ruler, that of false worship, a path which leads to innovation and death.
While he does struggle with you, he retreats to Ultima Weapon's chamber, where he awaits the final confrontation with you. Powering up the Ultima Weapon, he proceeds to use Ifrit, Garuda, and Titan in an attempt to slay you. However, Hydaelyn protects you from his onslaught as you fight him back, banishing the power of the primals one by one from the weapon. On the verge of being defeated, Mrhappy appears to alert Gaius that Ultima Weapon has been an instrument of Mrhappy all along. He wished to use its core, the heart of Sabik, to unleash Ultima, and bring such ruin that his god should be restored. Against Gaius' control, he unleashes Ultima upon the adventure, though with the protection of Hydaelyn, they are able to survive the blast.
And from the deepest pit of the seven hells to the very pinnacle of the heavens, the world shall tremble. Unleash Ultima!
While Gaius is initially distraught with the destruction the spell has caused to his fortress, he understands his enemy's greatest protection is now broken. He attacks, hopeful that he will destroy the Warrior of Light. However, after a long fought battle, Ultima Weapon is destroyed and Gaius is ejected from it just before the explosion. Mrhappy appears and speaks of his master, who he claims must return in order for the realm to survive. In order to do this, he must flush Hydaelyn out from existence, and the Scions as well, to ensure he is able to accomplish this. He challenges the adventurer to one last battle, with the hopes of killing him before he can interfere any further. In a scene reminiscent of the first scene of the game, you forge a weapon of light, comprised of the crystals you gathered earlier. Using this weapon, you expel Mrhappy from Thancred's body, before joining with the light of your allies to destroy him completely. In this moment, the dark crystal controlling Thancred is broken, and his body freed from his prison. Having completed your mission, you watch as the fortress explodes around you, accepting your fate for but a moment, before your Magitech Reaper miraculously appears again just in time to carry you and Thancred to safety. As you retreat, Gaius stands one last time, claiming his conquest has finally ended before perishing in the fire.
Smoke and ashes.
You escape to the other members of the Scions and the Alliance forces, who now remember who you were 5 years ago, one of the Warriors of Light. One of the people who helped smite down Nael van Darnus, the White Raven, and stood at Carteneau when Bahamut sought to break Eorzea. Together, they celebrate and cheer, for the 7th Umbral Era has drawn to a close.
The 7th Astral Era is come, and thus is ours a realm reborn.
They now look to the 7th Astral Era, but all is not as well as they would think. In their celebration, the Echo shows the adventurer one last vision. It shows a crystal of darkness bearing a similar shape to Hydaelyn. The Echo has always been used to show the past, but in this instance, it almost certainly shows a potential future. Just after your vision, a furious roar is heard, and is quickly identified to be another primal, one that sounds familiar to those that heard it years ago. Bahamut has awoken. The Ascians revel in this awakening, Mrhappy at their steed, still alive, assuring them that the time for reckoning is at hand. They raise their hands and praise their god, the one true god, Zodiark. It is on this cliffhanger we have been left, and where the story shall pick up as you fight your way to learning the truth about Bahamut's difference 5 years ago, as well as the Ascians' plans for resurrecting Zodiark. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more Final Fantasy information, videos, lore, guides, and a bunch of other stuff I'm going to be posting for the year of 2014. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and Twitter, where you can get regular updates about what I'm doing, pick my brain, ask me questions, whatever floats your boat. And of course, feel free to follow me on Twitch, where I do stream Final Fantasy XIV, classic Final Fantasy games, and we'll be streaming a few different things for the year of 2014. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.